I had a couple of different brushes there because I needed, I didn't just use this scraggly brush. I'm mixing and controlling my edges. There, I've added some water and pulled out some of the pigment to make it soft and feathery. But it's very important in my work to have mixed brush work, to have edges that are hard, edges that are soft, and trying to explore the range of what watercolor can do, because it's such a beautiful, beautiful medium that we get to be a part of. And for you as the artist too, it's so easy to get lost in the details because what the watercolor is doing is so mesmerizing. Keep in mind the end point. So I'll take a step back and see while it was still wet, I wanted to put some of those darks in. And you can see by that side of his cheek that I was working on before, it's still very soft, and I haven't defined it yet, but that is because I wanted it to be a gradual curve. Taking my medium range brushes, taking the moisture out and sucking up some of that water and pigment to create different edges and different effects with the watercolor. I do also use gravity a lot in my pieces. I'll make sure, generally, I will start from the top left hand and work my way down because that's the way gravity goes for me, and I'm right-handed. But you saw how I first started with a lot of the face part blend. I'll take nice clean water over the dry part where I want it to blend up, and I'll put it down so it's damp, and then I'll put in my next part. But see, in some of these places, I do want a little bit more of a harder line, and all I have to do is let it dry instead of blending it out. Going back and forth, and that's why making sure those pupils were in the right place. Something that is really hard in watercolor is making sure the eyes look alive, because with oil it's a lot, well, I don't want to say easier, but pupils are a hole through the eye, and that's what creates depth in the eye, and that's where the dark part comes from. And with oil you can make dark and then put color over the top and actually create that effect. But with watercolor it has to be additive. You can't put the opaque color over the top. So experiment and practice. I noticed right here that his face was very dark and everything was really dark, and I wanted his face to be more of the main focal point, not just with focus, but also with value. And so I'm pushing it forward by pushing the snowy background back instead of just leaving it the white of the paper. I did a nice, a nice wash all the way down, nice even wash. That was just more neutral. I'm going to let it dry. There's little tiny hairs that came from my wash, and it's still damp. I'm not going to touch them. There's a couple, and I'm just going to wait until it's dry, and then I'm going to brush them off with a brush. And you can see some of my masking. That's what I want to be, little glistenings of snow, and I want it to be wider than that background. I'm going back and fixing any of those hard edges and brushing off those hairs. Then I thought, you know what, I think I would like to do another wash. I make plenty of wash material for that because you don't want to run it out of it as you go. So that's about it. And then I also have a clean brush where I just, what I talked about before, making sure the places where I want it to blend really evenly. Here's just the nice clean brush. It's all dry. I'm going to make sure that that's damp so it won't, I don't have to worry about that blending. Now I'm just moving with gravity all the way down, doing a nice even wash. And that's it. Give it a sign. You can see how just putting that wash on the back really makes his face more luminous. It gives it more of a luminous quality. That's it.